which is great. And
you said that's great. You said you really like talking to players.
just because because I'm not with the team now, you get an honesty from them. They kind of look at me, I think, like, well, we know those other guys sitting there with you don't understand, but you do. So there's kind of an empathy there, like, well, we can tell you, and we know that you understand. So, and it's been great to see. Then Friday night we'll have some production meeting notes. We'll go over it over dinner. Saturday we'll then wait for the Bears to come in, interact with them, have a pretty lengthy production meeting about, okay, how we're going to do this and what are some of the things we're looking for, and then they'll go through their storyboards and all the things that they've got, all the beer they got to sell, and how that's going to show up, and then get up on Sunday and have it.
Has it been, from a process standpoint, what you expected? Because you've been on the other end. You were the coach who lands in Pittsburgh and goes and talks to Al Michaels or John Madden or whatever before a game. Now you're the guy going in, and you are John Madden in this case. Was it what you expected?
Yeah, it's about, and I'm learning that it's not about what I see on the field, it's about what the fans see on the TV. So translating what it is we see on the field to something you can communicate on the TV in a very, and you have on the average about 12 seconds. And as we all know, brevity is not my strong suit.
Right.
So that's something I've had to, you got to bring your thoughts into a very concise manner. And you got a guy yelling in your ear the whole time when you say, well, in this D&D, he's going, explain D&D. They don't know what D&D is. Oh, okay. Well, and then when they bring a guy down...
Because you're used to using football geek terminology.
Sure.
Right.
And so they're constantly, well, and they bring that guy down the box. Tell him what the box is. Tell him what the box is. And so they're constantly prodding you to... as they said when I took the job, call the game as though you're talking to your mother and explain it as though you're explaining it to me.
Has that been hard?
I'm always worried that, and I don't know, the fans here would have, I worry about dumbing it down as though you have to make it so simple that folks are sitting at home going, who's this guy?
I thought he knew a lot.
Yeah,
right.
He's talking to me like I'm a dummy. So I worry about bringing it down to too common a denominator.
So tell me about the players you've been meeting. You've met with 5 games, 10 different teams.
Matt Forte, you talk about an impressive young man. That's as impressive a rookie as I've ever met. Just the way he carries himself, the way he communicates, he gets it.
Do these things remind you a little bit of Indianapolis in the Combine, where you're more grilling a player, but...
Yeah, and they're not as schooled then. Here, they're not on their guard as much. And it's much more specific. You're talking about, they have a better idea of what's going on. And it's interesting, some players the guys will be interviewing them, and they'll ask, well, is so-and-so going to play? And the coach of me wants to go, don't answer that. Or one of the other guys, now some of them are smart enough to go, well, that's not my deal. And we're just looking for flip cards. Media people are nuts about those flip cards. They want to know who's up, who's down, so the graphics are right. And that's all they want. They're not trying to look for inside information. But me as the coach, you constantly preach, look, anybody's health, that's our business, not theirs. So sometimes I fall back, and I want to, kind of nudge them a little bit, like, don't answer that. Don't answer the question.
As a coach, were you paranoid? As an example, you're friends with Joe Theismann. I don't think I'm speaking out of school to say that. So Theismann comes in to call a game for ESPN. Do you tell Joe more about what you're going to be doing tomorrow night? Because I get the sense certain broadcasters get more information out of certain coaches to know what's happening.
Yeah, Joe's a bad example, because Joe will come in and go, what are you going to start with? And before you get a word out, he'll spend the next hour telling you what you should start with. That's Joe. You got to love Joe. No, and I think it's interesting to hear the questions from the production people, because now these guys, I work with Bob Stenner and Sandy Grossman, the best. They're on Madden's crew.
They've been doing it since
the best, 38 years.
Right, it's 1970.
They're like an old married